let's transition then to seed oils. A friend of mine passed me this article from Oprah Daily, and then News Nation is also picking it up. So I always think it's interesting when I see the media running defense for like the same thing at different outlets. Like, what's going on? Did somebody get a press release from some seed oil company or something, or this, I don't know, the soybean farmers of America? I don't know, but whenever they're on the same topic, it makes me go, all right, it's something's going on here. But anyway, this is Oprah Daily. Are seed oils really killing us? Wellness influencers say yes, but their claims are slippery at best. Now, this is a tactic that I see quite a bit, where I saw it when I was in the TV news business, where you put like a mom against the Department of Health. Okay. So it's like when we were covering vaccine exemptions in Washington State, we'd have a mom at a protest saying that she should have the right to choose whether her kid gets, all these vaccines. And then we would have the Department of Health respond to her, and you'd have a scientist or a doctor blow her out of the water, because that's how we did it. And she looked, she just never could hold a candle to the Department of Health because she's not a doctor. And when I suggested that we should put doctors up against each other, that was when my boss told me I was never allowed to talk about vaccines in the newsroom ever again, which is crazy to me that we were, what, let's have a fair fight. But anyway, this is how this gets set up this way. Wellness influencers say yes. Okay. So it's a fight between wellness influencers and the experts. And I mean, I will just, let me go back to it. I'll just summarize the article by saying that, they call out RFK Jr. saying that, he's basically getting people all riled up for no reason. And they have their scientists talking about the health benefits. So you have a PhD from Stanford saying that it's mind-boggling. That's a quote. The demonization of these oils is mind-boggling. And if you go to News Nation, same thing. What are seed oils, and are they really poisoning you? Critics argue they contribute to diabetes, obesity, and other chronic diseases. Here we go again. Critics argue, but health experts say they're generally healthy, but more research is needed. Okay, so it's the critics versus the health experts. It's the influencers versus the experts. What are you? Are you an expert, or are you a health influencer? Who are you?
Yeah, I would like to say that I am a subject matter expert based on the academia that I have supporting me. So I feel like, though, in this claim, they would probably try to say that I didn't go to Stanford, so therefore I might not know as much as, some Ivy League researcher. I don't believe that to be true. I like to think that I'm a subject matter expert on this. With these seed oils, just in how you summarize this, even, they're using hot topic words, right? So they're trying to say experts versus influencers and critics versus experts. First of all, I would like to know who the expert is that wrote this. So we have a PhD from Stanford, but that doesn't mean that he's a PhD in nutrition. He could be a PhD in theology. We don't know. They're not putting all of that information out there. So it makes it seem like it's bigger than it is. We have so much information when it comes to seed oils. And, I'm not here to bash seed oils or any of their experts, if you will. But what I will say, and maybe not even to blow holes in it, but sort of, we have too much research that shows that seed oils cause inflammation. And then taking just that information alone, if that's all I say about what the seed oils do, if that's all it does to your body is it just increases your inflammation, we could go on off of that on so many different systems in the body that are negatively impacted due to increased inflammation, such as autoimmune diseases, cholesterol, cognitive support. There's too much data, real data, not, observation, but actual clinical data that shows that seed oils are not good for us. That doesn't mean that we can never have a French fry. That doesn't mean that we have to cut them out completely. But what that means is I wouldn't be using seed oils to cook on a daily basis, but I wouldn't not go out and have dinner at a restaurant every once in a while with my friend either. So there does need to be some balance there. Just because something in moderation or low amounts it's not good for you. You can have it in low amounts, then yes, okay, but that doesn't make it healthy. That means it's not going to harm you if you're doing it in low amounts versus all of the time. So I really think that they use words and they try to arrange it in a way that further pushes what they're wanting, which is to discredit, in this case it seems, RFK Jr. and wellness influencers. whether you're a wellness influencer, whether you're a mom, whether it doesn't matter. If you read these studies and you know that this is the right information, you don't have to have a PhD behind your name for your statement to be true. And it seems like in this case, that's what they're pushing is, well, this PhD from Stanford is saying that it's mind-boggling. Well, it's not mind-boggling if you actually go in and read the studies that show that this causes X in the body, it causes inflammation, and it causes all these other health issues. And then the thousands of people that have removed seed oils on a daily basis that have had improvement in their general health. That does blow holes in it to me.
Well, definitely they are not saying that they're just like, okay, in moderation, they're not so bad, or like, have a French fry every once in a while, it's not going to kill you. They are saying basically that they have better benefits than animal fats. Here's a paragraph right here. Unlike animal fats such as butter, lard, and beef tallow, which RFK Jr. claims is a vastly healthier alternative, many seed oils are made up of unsaturated fats, and most contain high levels of either omega-3 or omega-6 fatty acids. These polyunsaturated fats are linked to a whole host of health benefits. So unlike animal fats, blah, 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 this is better.
Right. But we know that animal fats do contain polyunsaturated fats. We know that they, yes, it's considered a healthy fat, but it also contains a lot of nutrients for us. So, we have, again, back to our B vitamins, we're loaded in with B12 from red meats. We have a lot of benefit from that. And, it really seems when we're reading this information, I don't know how freely you want me to speak on this, but
freely. You can speak freely.
it really seems that they're going to do anything that they can to cancel out anything that has to do with RFK Jr. and the right side push for health on this. I think a good example of that is look at the head of our health department the last 4 years versus look at the new head of our health department. And you can just see the difference in health just visibly, right? And one does seed oils on a regular basis and one doesn't. And you can see the visible difference in their outward health, So again, I think that there's definitely a big push there. And I think there's a lot of political push behind it, which is sad because the American people in general are suffering due to that.
In this paragraph, they say that study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine studied more than 400,000 people and showed that replacing just 5% of dietary animal fat with plant fat was associated with a 4 to 24% lowered overall risk of mortality. So it just kind of goes back to the same drumbeat that we were talking about earlier with CNN cutting the red meat. And honestly, like when the media, like when they all do this over and over and over again, they read each other and they trust each other. They're like in the same group. So they're like, well, it just becomes, they become true believers. They're not, I think a lot of these folks either, part of it's like you just trying to make your deadline and get your lunch break in, or you're just part of the same club. So they would trust Oprah Daily or News Nation or CNN over something you say because you're in this alternative media world. You're an influencer, even if you are a doctor, but you're like, you're a doctor in the some other ethos, this other place than that they, and they just, I don't know. There's also, I think, a little bit of safety in numbers. If everybody's saying this, then even if you're wrong, like who's going to come after you because everybody's saying it, so the health advice, like during COVID, this happened over and over again. There was so much disinformation and misinformation that was pushed by the mainstream media, in a lot of ways pushed by the government, that was then recycled by the mainstream media. But nobody ever held them accountable within their own circles because they were like all kind of wrong, and they just kept going with it because it was like, well, who cares? Because we're, I don't know, they're not going to go back and apologize if like everybody was saying, and they don't investigate really if everybody's saying it. They're just, a lot of these places are just copying and pasting what the AP is reporting anyway. In some of these They have one reporter or two reporters at a press conference. That person writes one story. They may not know anything about what they're talking about, and then everybody just copies and pastes it. And that's just how health news is published these days. Okay, if you would like to send me real mail, you can. I have a PO Box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. I get all kinds of great notes from people, notes of encouragement, seeds for the garden, tips for the show, presents for the kids. Keep it kid friendly, nothing edible because I'll think you're trying to kill me, and nothing creepy because my kids do open the packages on the way home. Thanks to everybody who supports over there. Also, okay, fermented cod liver oil, butter oil blend here for like over 10 years. Green Pasture is amazing. They have been such a wonderful addition to my show team for sponsors because they are part of the Wise Traditions Conference every year. So they brought me out to Wise Traditions to learn more about the Weston Price Foundation, all the doctors and scientists. They came and spoke there along with the farmers, and they just have great products. So they've got a lot of stuff there, but the stuff we've been taking for over 10 years really helped me with my cavities was this, the fermented cod liver oil, concentrated butter oil blend. We do the gel. I like the cinnamon tingle flavor. You get 10% off if you use Allison at checkout, Allison with 1L, and it is greenpasture.org.